fear of the practice of people. This is slide number 38. There is an exception. Basically, you should try to stay up until Fajr if you can. If you have somebody weak with you, if you have a woman with you, if you have an older person with you, it is permissible for you to leave after the middle of the night so that you avoid the rush in the morning. And like I said before, that yes, there's one sunnah that the Prophet ﷺ did, and there are exceptions to the rule that the scholars have talked about and discussed in detail. The exception to the rule is basically that on this night you're allowed to leave in the middle of the night if you have these weak people with you. You can also pray at Al-Mash'ar al-Haram in Muzdalifah if you can. Climb upon it, there's a small mountain, Muzdalifah, climb upon it, face the Qibla, then recite the Taheel and make dua until the sky becomes very bright. Again, not obligatory, not mandatory. If you can do that, it's fine. If you are, likely to get lost, because remember, you have only a few hours in Muzdalifah. If you go around trying to find Al-Mash'ar al-Haram and you get lost, then you're just going to cause trouble for everybody. It's going to be dark, and if you leave your group, it's very, very likely that you'll get lost. So do not leave your group. Stay together and do not try to do things that are not mandatory, and basically try to, I won't say it in a rude way, but to become more pious than everybody else, and basically cause a hindrance to everybody. It's not essential, it's not mandatory. Just stay in Muzdalifah and try to get some rest, because the next day is going to be very, very busy. You leave from Mina before the sun rises, calmly while reciting Talbiyah. So you basically pray Fajr at Muzdalifah. Before the sun rises, you leave to go back towards Mina again. And now, what they've done is, when you are leaving for Mina, the trains actually, and this is quite convenient, the trains actually will drop you at right at the area where you do the Rami. Okay? So as you are leaving the train, keep 7 stones ready. Okay? If the time has already started, which is after Fajr, you can actually start doing the Rami straight away. Okay? So this is when you are leaving Muzdalifah for Mina. Is the aerial view of it on slide 4. Aerial view of the area that you're going to be. Okay, what do people do in Muzdalifah that are difficult? Slide number 41. Delaying the Maghrib and Isha prayers until after the middle of the night. Okay, so you've left Arafah, you got lost or you got stuck in traffic, and now what happened? You are delaying Maghrib and Isha until after the middle of the night. It is not appropriate for you to do that. You should pray it before the middle of the night. Okay? Spending the night outside the limits of Muzdalifah, staying the night within Muzdalifah is a wajib. Thinking that the pebbles have to be collected from Muzdalifah, they can be collected from anywhere. The sunnah is to collect it from Muzdalifah. Leaving Muzdalifah before Fajr for fear of the crowd, the Prophet ﷺ gave permission to women and the weak only. Okay? So women and the weak, and that would include if you have a weak person with you and they need you to be with them, then you can also be with them if need be. And staying in Muzdalifah until after sunrise is also not appropriate. The sunnah is to leave close to sunrise, right before. Leaving after sunrise was a practice of the pre-Islamic period of Jahiliyyah. Alright, you arrive in Mina the morning of the 10th of Dhul-Hijjah. This is the busiest day of Hajj. We're on slide 44. You're going to do stoning the Jamaratul Aqaba. You're going to, number 2, sacrifice an animal. Number 3, shave or trim off your hair. Number 4, go to Makkah to do Tawaf al-Ifada and Sa'i and come back to Mina. Like I said, the first thing, stoning the Jamar. They have done it in such a way, they've made the train station in such a way that when you're getting off at the train station, there is no option for you except to pass by the Jamrat, the big Jamrat, okay? Now, geographically, the big Jamrat is right at the end, okay? So you pass by one Jamrat, one pillar representing Shaitan, and then you pass by the second pillar, and then the third pillar, all right? And you will help this Jamrat at, after Fajr. This is going to be after Fajr. Now, what do people do? What do people do? People do this. They will basically be coming from this direction. All right, let's see, for people so that you can see it. They'll be coming from this direction, and everybody's going to be attacking the pillar from this side. So the whole crowd is going to be here. If you step back a little bit, think with a cool mind, you can just basically go from outside here. Go from the outside, and this wall is going to be completely empty. Trust me on this. Done it every single time. Just go around the side, completely empty, 7 stones, take 1, Bismillah Allahu Akbar. Take 2, Bismillah Allahu Akbar. Third one, until you've done 7. If you take all the 7 stones and throw them at once, this is not permissible. This would be only counted as one throwing. It is also permissible for you to do rami on behalf of somebody. If you're afraid, if your mother's with you, your wife is with you, and you're afraid of the crowd, then you can actually, what you can do is, you can take her stones or his stones, whoever they are. You do your own rami first, 7 stones, and then in your mind you think this rami is on behalf of such and such, and you say do the same thing. Allahu Akbar, and 7 stones. Then you walk away from there, and you can do 2 things, okay? You can either go back to your tent, rest a little bit in Mina, or do what I do. That is, start walking, go directly to Makkah. Okay, you're still in the state of Ihram. If you go back to your tent, basically what you have to do is you wait for news of your animal being sacrificed. Okay? Once you get the news that the animal has been sacrificed, you cut your hair and you can come out of the state of Ihram now. Okay? It has to be in that order. The animal is sacrificed, then you cut your hair. You get your hair cut, and usually in the camp, the barbers will come and cut your hair for you. Once you find out about the sacrifice, animal being sacrificed, cut your hair, you can actually come out of your clothes, take a shower, put on other clothes, and basically you're now out of the state of Ihram. This is called Tahallul Surah. Everything is now permissible for you except intercourse, right, with your wife, which is with you. Okay? So all of the restrictions have now been lifted. You're allowed to cut your hair, you're allowed to clip your nails, you're allowed to use perfume, you're allowed to put your clothes on. Okay, this is on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. Or what you can do, still in the state of Ihram, walk towards Makkah. Start walking. Like I said, it's like 2.8 miles. Going, and keep in mind the distance that you have to travel. 2.8 miles walking there, doing tawaf, 7 circles, then making sa'i 7 times, then walking all the way back. Good 8-9 miles at least you're going to be traveling. Walking, if you're capable of doing that. If you are capable of doing that, then you can do that. Okay? So what's going to happen is that by the time you've done all this, you've gone and walked all the way to Mecca, you've done the tawaf, which is called tawaf al-ifadah, you've done the sa'i, and you're coming back, and you're still in the state of ihram yet, because you haven't cut your hair yet. By that time, you're pretty sure that your sacrifice has already been done, and on the way back, you will find that there's going to be people cutting hair on the side of the road. You can get your hair cut, and now basically you're also out of the state of ihram. All the restrictions are lifted, except actually, because you've already performed tawaf al-ifadah, now all your restrictions are lifted. Okay, you are completely now out of the state of ihram. Okay, so again, I'll recap that. Either after doing the Rami, go back to your camp in Mina, which is basically just outside the Jamarat. Relax, have your haircut, come out of your clothes. After finding out, obviously, that your animal has been sacrificed, you have to make sure that the animal is sacrificed, then you get your haircut. Then you are out of the, you take a shower and come out of your ihram, put on your regular clothes, and now you're out of the state of ihram, except the only issue is that there's one restriction still, no intimacy with the wife. Okay? Or, you, after doing the Rami, walk to Mecca, perform the tawaf, perform the sa'i, walk all the way back, and because you've done the tawaf ifadah already now, and once you cut your hair, now you are completely out of the state of ihram. Okay? Completely, 100%. Alright? Now this issue of tawaf al-ifadah, if you delay it, the more busier it's going to get. Remember that. The more you delay it, the more busier the haram is going to get. The more busier it gets, the more difficult it's going to be for you to perform it. So my suggestion is that straight after Fajr, you do the running and start walking. Don't wait for the bus, don't wait for transportation, start walking if you have the ability to do that. If you have somebody weak with you and you prefer transportation, then wait for your travel agent to provide that transportation for you. Otherwise, best case scenario is to walk. Alright? That's why I mentioned yesterday, if you haven't started walking already, haven't started exercising, start. Because there's going to be a lot of walking to do. Alright, let's go through this. So this slide on page 44, it says here, stone Jamratul Aqaba. Number 2, sacrifice the animal, which will be done for you actually. Number 3, shave or trim off your hair. Number 4, go to Mecca and do tawaf al-ifadah and sa'i and come back to Mina. And then the details are going to be mentioned in the next slides. Okay, you stone Jamratul Aqaba only on this day with 7 small stones, which this is slide number 45. Slightly bigger than the chickpea. You recite the fear while throwing each stone. You cease reciting the talbiyah